Well, it's been 7 days. I'm pumped and excited. Been 7 days since we put in this split that we made. I made the split on April the 29th. Now it's, what is it, May the 6th? Yeah. So we're going to go ahead and take it out of its 5-frame box that it's in, a 5-frame nuke. And I think all in all, we're going to be happy. Sometimes when you make a split, it's hard for it not to have all the foragers go back to the main hive. So what we're going to do today is inspect it, make sure that our original queen from the original hive is still there, laying eggs, hopefully, and they should be packed. They should be ready to expand into a deep box. And then what we're also going to do, since they have 5 frames that are drawn out, we're going to go ahead and put another deep on top with drawn comb in it. And I'm going to show you, be sure to watch this, going to show you guys how to bait the bees, prime the bees to go up into that second deep, a little secret weapon superpower trick that is amazing to get the bees up into your next box really fast. Let's get to work. So this is going to be my new bottom deep that's going to replace the 5-frame nuke that's on there now. This is going to be helpful for those of you that are maybe getting a nucleus this year, and give you some insight on how to go about it. So what we're looking at here is the box I'm going to put those 5 frames in. So you can see here I got 4 frames in. I've got drawn comb, and look at this. I got a frame of solid capped honey that I kept frozen and got in there to help them get going. So I don't want to put that in the brood nest area, but I'm going to put it outside the brood nest area. So 5 frames that are in there now are going to be pretty much the brood area. And if I put the 5 frames in there now, that'll make 9. And then I'm going to have the option. I'm not going to put 5 in there. It's going to be too crowded. So this will give me room to put my 5 in and evaluate the 5 going in there. And then I'll choose from over here, maybe just a frame of drawn comb to help lay more eggs. This is the smoker fuel that I use. I buy burlap, and I have a link in my description. Food quality, food grade burlap that really makes for great smoker fuel. And I get it in big sheets, and I prepare a piece like this, and I put some of this shipping paper as I roll it up. So I have a bunch of this in storage ready to go just like that. So let's just light our paper here, get it going. And once we get our paper burning good, don't cram it down in there and snuff it out, but keep it going, work it down to the base of the smoker. Once you have that in there, I take my burlap at about this size. I'm going to keep that paper going. And as you can see, I like to fold it up like this. And then I bend it like this. And I put all the cut edges, not this edge, it won't light up good, but I put all the cut edges toward the fire, and I don't pack it in there. I just set it in there and then give it a lot of good puffs, and that's gonna ignite the smoker fuel burlap above the starter fuel. So you just start it like that. Once you feel, a lot of people rush this. They think it's smoking and it's good to go. Well, it's not. It'll go out too fast on you. But once you feel like your burlap is caught fire, like you can see flames, take your hive tool and gently work it down. Again, we're not going to smash it just yet, but puff it some more because it's a little bit lower now. And see if you can get some flames to come up past that new burlap. There you go. You can hear it. And I can see it. All right, so now we got our smoker going good. Now tap it down gently like that. Shut the lid. That is a good smoker right there, people. All right. Wow, that's amazing. If you didn't see the video where I placed this big heavy metal in front of the split, it's to help the bees gain a new idea that they're in a new place and to start a new orientation flight so they don't go back to the original hive I took them from. And I think it'll work great. Smoke into the entrance. So by placing it on the hive stand, like if you buy a new nucleus or you make a split like this, by placing it here, you can see the entrance is going to be pretty close to what their next entrance is going to be once we put the deep hive box. So minimal confusion. And once I smoke, I'm going to set it back down 10 or 15 seconds like that. Let the smoke kind of calm those bees down. And I like to lift the lid away from yourself like this. If you lift it this way, they can fly out up under your shirt or something. This way you can use the top cover for a shield while the bees get used to that bright light. All right. Here are some bees that are on the bottom of the top cover, but I don't see any small hive beetle. That's good. We, after I made this split on April the 29th, we did not have good weather. I was worried about all the splits that I made because one night it got down to, I think, 39 degrees. And I was afraid they were going to get too cold, and some of them might have. We'll see. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at this one. Now, the best way to work this out is not to examine the nucleus here. In other words, you want to do it this way. So go ahead and take it off of where it's at now. You get a good grip on it here. And I'm just going to set it on the ground right here. Now, I'm going to take the maple tree helicopters out. And I'm going to take my deep box, which is right here, and go ahead and put it on the bottom board that was already in position holding my nuke up there. There we go. So now, as I inspect each frame, I'm going to set it in position. Let's start with this one over against that wall because it's a little further away. A little more gappy. I don't have to worry about rolling some bees over there. You gotta give me some space. Slow movement. It's going to keep the bees quieter and calmer. Okay. I have nice looking larvae in the middle. The youngest larvae to me is 4 days old. And it's just packed in there, if you can see. I'm not sure how well you're going to be able to see on this camera, but it looks good. Everybody looks strong and healthy, pearly white. Bee bread over here. Some cat brood in the middle. So let's go ahead, since that's on the outside, we'll put it on the outside edge of the brood nest in the hive, right there. Now let's look at the next frame, but smoke first. They're being real calm, so let's keep it that way, right? This is fun working on this hive. You know, I looked at my subscribers today, 166,000. So I did the math, and at this rate, I can reach 1 million subscribers when I turn 93. Oh my gosh, I'm really going to have to eat my Wheaties and stay healthy until then. So if you want to help me do it before I die, please subscribe. And we actually have eggs off in the corners, and we have cap brood. Did we mark that queen? Anybody remember? I don't remember. But she's in there because I see a lot of eggs and very young larvae over here. And the same thing over here. Very good looking split. Look at that. Good. This is also, by the way, how you would make up a nucleus if you wanted to sell a nuke to somebody. So I'm going to see if I have eyes on the queen. Oh yeah, we did not mark her because, you know, we weren't sure how old she was. And if I put a blue dot on her, later that would tell me she was born in 2025. And I think I caught a swarm last year, and this is a swarm. So we don't know the age of that queen. That's why I didn't want to mark her. So she is not marked, but she's in there because we saw eggs, so we don't have to find her. If we accidentally missed her today, it doesn't matter. All is good. Smoke them again. Keep everybody calm down. And let's see what this frame tells us. Okay, very good. Everything looks good again. Yep, I see some drones on there. A lot of you see drones and you think you see a queen because the drones are bigger than worker bees. And the queen is only slightly bigger than worker bees, usually. Okay, so a lot of eggs right in the center. Do you see that? Those cells have eggs in it. So the queen was there today, yesterday on this frame. A noisy drone just lifted off for takeoff. When a drone mates with a queen in the drone congregation area, the queen flies for the both of them. While he does his work, she has to fly for both of them. He stops flying and concentrates on other things. Okay. Put that in there. We're keeping our 5 frames the same as they are, the order that they're in the nuke box. Slow motion, don't get too excited and start moving fast, or it may overly excite your bees and you won't be able to work barehanded like I am. Gosh, the larvae look so good in there, pearly white, lots of eggs and young larvae. There's our queen, look at that. Down at the bottom, I'll try to point her out in the edit room. But yeah, she looks good, doing a great job for us. I could mark her, you know, who cares if I put a blue dot on her, as long as I know it wasn't a 2025 queen, but she's pretty big. You can see her pretty easily. I'm not going to worry too much about it. Just doing her business. Okay, let's keep going. Now, I like to look at the queen, get eyes on her right now, so that when I put the frame back in, there's my queen right there. And so now when I put my frame down, I'm watching the queen and nothing else all the way down to make sure when I put these 2 frames together, she's not in between wood or something and I would injure her. I'm going to smoke the bees over here, and I'm going to smoke the last frame over here. As we put the last frame in, this is an enjoyable day, isn't it? To work bees. It finally warmed up and stopped raining. Okay, so here's our last frame. A lot of good resources. Look at all the nectar. Look at all the honey, nectar, capped over honey. Uncapped honey is nectar, like here. This is just a frame of nectar, not honey. All right, so we're going to set it right where it was in the nucleus. Right there. All right, now this is the frame of honey, but remember I told you I want to show you a top secret superpower on getting this hive to expand into the next deep. I'm going to show you how I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it by taking one of the frames that is drawn out with bees on it, and it's not going to be the frame of honey. It's going to be the frame that has a lot of open brood on it. This is the frame with our queen that she still may be there. So I think it was this frame here that we're going to take a look at. It doesn't matter if the queen's on it or not. Okay, let's see what the other side looks like. Yeah, this has a lot of young larvae on it. Very young. 1 day old, 2 day old larvae that nurse bees have to take care of. We're going to set it aside temporarily. Make sure the queen isn't on it. If she is, it's fine, but I just want to make sure when I set this frame outside that if the queen is there, I know to make sure she's on it when I lift it back up. She could have jumped onto this side. Nah. There are a lot of drones flying today. That's what the noise is. All right, so without that, we're going to make the brood nest area tight again by pushing all of our frames together like this. That's working good. Here's our honey frame coming up. And now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We need 2 frames. And I think what I'll do, this is where you work off the fly, critical thinking skill. Drop the honey frame back. We need 2 frames. I'm going to give them this frame drawn out comb so they can keep working it like that. And let's go with 1 more frame of drawn comb so they can keep working this way, and then they get to the honey frame right here. So that gives us our 10 frames. Now the important part is to always make sure your 10 frames are tight toward the middle, or else you're going to get strange wonky comb. So I got a gap on this side, but now I need to push it so that any spacing is absorbed and all the frames have the bulk of the space. They're tight together with spacing on toward the wall. Okay, so now let's put our other deep box on. Show you, hang on, this is really cool. Here we go with the superpower. Let's see, did I not like, I don't think I like that box. No, it's got a little problem with it on the corner, and I'm gonna use this box instead. It's a better shaped box. I wanna start the season with a decent box. Okay, so since this is our new box, we're gonna take this frame as a bait, a way to get our bees from the lower deep up into this top deep. And it has very young larvae on it, eggs and larvae. So the bees, the nurse bees, are going to be forced to come up here and take care of that. And so now all we have to do is put 9 more frames on either side of this bait frame. We call it a bait frame because we're baiting the bees to come up here. So we're going to use drawn foundation, already drawn out, put it there. Same, drawn foundation. Some drawn foundation. Put that one there. And look at this. This is going to be scrumptious. I have a frame of capped over honey right here. I'm going to go ahead and give them that up here as well. Right above the brood nest area. They'll get up on that. In case I get another week of rain, that's going to help them out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I need 3 more frames. Here are 2. So we got 1, 2. I need 1 more. We're going to put 1 more against closer to this wall over here. Let's move everything tight together. Yeah, the last frame is a little newer comb. Look at that, bright white, yellow. We'll put it over there against the wall. Let's get our smoker going to smoke the bees again as we continue to work them. There we go. So we got our 10 frames in the top. We had 5 frames on the deep that they expanded well. And then we baited them with this comb right here, which has got young brood in it that are going to force the hive to not just stay down below, but start moving up and working these 10 frames. So just like that, we made a split. And in 7 days, we now have a monster-sized colony. We have, a big hive, 2 deeps on it. Are they ready for a super yet? No, we got to wait until about 4 more frames are drawn out in this top box here before we add a super to it. But it won't be long now, especially if the weather stays good. And we'll throw our top cover on it and put our brick back. By the way, did you notice my cowboy hat? Got my EAS Certified Master Beekeeper pin on it, and as well as my phrase, cowboy up and get her done. We have shirts available with my phrase, cowboy up, beekeeping isn't for cowards. Check that out too. By the way, when I'm done with my smoker, I find the best way to extinguish it is, look at this cork, and I just take this cork, I trimmed it down to the size that it would fit right in here and snuff out my smoker from burning, and it's going to save the smoker fuel burlap that I have in there. I can easily light it and use it again next time. Well, they're starting to get used to it. You see a few more flying in and out now. Hey, join me for coffee time. Take a minute while I sit and talk to you under the apple tree. I've enjoyed this new cowboy hat, wearing it. Cowboy up. A lot of fun. Well, I wanted to take a minute and just drop in here and have a little coffee time with you guys. If you want to grab a cup of coffee, and let's talk about something that I think is going to be very helpful for you, whether it's about beekeeping or life in general. But listen to this. Everything in life has its challenging moments, whether it's beekeeping or your job. Maybe it's the stage of life that you're in right now, a health concern. Maybe it's price of living, cost of living, it seems like going up. So There's always things that we're struggling with. We all have our dark moments, our frustration, depressed moments that we just can't seem to tread water anymore. And I want to encourage you and kind of pump you up and get you excited, because I've learned something over the years. I've not always had an easy life. I've had, in my other career that I had, it was very stressful, a lot of conflict. And so I'm glad that I was able to have that experience, and it was a very honorable thing to have done. But at the same time, it was hard and it had its horrible moments. And I'm glad that through those times, I learned a lot of things about life, and it gave me an experience. I was very young. It gave me an experience that tied over into me as I mature and get older, that I learned from those early days. One of the things that I learned was that no matter what happens to you, that you have to survive. You know, I've said this before, and some of you probably haven't heard me say it, but your ability to survive, the first thing you have to do when you're in a situation where you have to survive, is you have to have a will to survive, a will, a determination. You have to have a will that says, this is bad, but I'm going to make it home tonight and I'm going to survive. Now that seems extreme, you know, but sometimes we feel that way in life. And so the way that you survive is by just doing a little bit to progress toward home, whatever the final outcome is that you're hoping to get through your hard times. You got to get to a better time. You got to inch along. Sometimes you can't just make it happen overnight. And if you give up, if you lose your will, then it's not going to happen. Beekeeping is that way. There are times in beekeeping where it's frustrating and you lose your will to survive learning about bees or even keeping bees anymore, and you're like, I'm done. But with beekeeping, you have to inch along and you have to really push hard. And like my hat says, you actually have to cowboy up and get the job done. And it's tough sometimes. Now, I want to mention that one of the things that has helped me, and I've put together through the course of my younger life, is that if I can just do a little bit at a time, I can accomplish great things over the long haul. A lot of people try to accomplish something great, you know, all at once, and that rarely happens. And sometimes when it does, it's not good for you. It doesn't feel like you put your time in, it doesn't feel rewarding or something, right? But when you put your time in and you really put the elbow grease or whatever into it, and it took you a long time to achieve it, it's really rewarding to get there, doesn't it? You know, so here's the thing. Whether you're doing beekeeping or you've started a new hobby or you're wrestling through getting familiar with a new job or whatever, you've got to be committed to do a little bit toward getting better or getting familiar with it. Do a little bit every day. Now, I'm not perfect at that. I want to give you some things that I've done. When I wanted to be a EAS certified master beekeeper, I started applying and working through that procedure of applying and studying through the Eastern Apicultural Society in 2009. And I think I started in 2008 really studying hard. And then I went and took my 4 tests at the Eastern Apicultural Society's meeting. And that was in New York somewhere. And I passed 2 out of the 4 exams. I think I passed the field exam and I passed the oral exams. And then I went back the next year in North Carolina at the conference, and I nailed and completed my lab tests and my written tests. And so in 2010, I was certified by the most prestigious grandfather of all master beekeeper programs in the world, Eastern Apicultural Society of North America. And I'll tell you, it was a good feeling. How did I get there? What was I, 50 or something when I was trying to do that, you know? And so I think that for me, what I did was I every day I did a little bit to study. I studied something for probably at least 2 years, if not longer. So for 2 years, I studied 365 days a year. I studied a little bit. Even if I only studied for 2 minutes, I made a commitment to study something, 2 minutes, memorizing complicated Latin words, scientific words, memorizing the different anatomy of the honeybee, all the different parts and pieces of the honeybee, just packing it in my mind. And I think that's the way we can effectively accomplish things. For example, Sherry and I have been married since, for a long time, 45 years, I think, if I'm right. So we got married in 1980. And we have always invested in our marriage a little bit every day. We do a little bit to improve our marriage every day. Now, we didn't go to counseling to learn that. We've not gone to marriage therapy or counseling. We just decided that we would invest in our marriage a little bit every day. And that is a ton of different things that we do, but it's always something, whether it's just spending time eating together, talking, whether it's watching a show together, whether it's encouraging one another, whatever, we're committed to the marriage a little bit. Now, a little bit, here's the thing. Once you stop doing a little bit a day, let's say exercise. Let's say, I know that's a tough one, and that makes some people angry. I hate exercise. Everybody hates exercising, most people, but let's say you get committed maybe to lose weight or be in better shape and you start exercising, right? All of us kind of get, we run into a lack of motivation sometimes, and we're like, I don't want to exercise today. I'll do it tomorrow. Well, if you don't do anything in exercising today and it runs into tomorrow, tomorrow's a lot easier to say tomorrow when you get to tomorrow. And before long, you're postponing a lot of stuff. A day turns into a week turns into a month, and you just don't need anymore. So even if let's say you're wanting to run or you're wanting to cycle or something, real intense cardiac workout, and you can't do it because it's crappy outside, it's rainy or something, do something, whether it's 2 minutes or 3 minutes, stay in the program. Get yourself on the floor, do some sit-ups or push-ups, go up and down your stairs for 2 minutes or something, stay in it. That's what you have to do. If you're committed to beekeeping, then what you have to do is say, every day I'm going to do something in beekeeping. Here's what I suggest. I suggest you start with a 5-frame nucleus like we were just in and play in that hive 2 days a week. Spread it out, but you got 7 days. And I want you to do something in beekeeping every day. So 2 days you're going to be in the hive looking around, taking pictures, studying it, getting excited about what you're seeing, learning about what bees are doing. You've got 5 frames so you can play with it, right? You don't really have to battle 10 or 20 or 30 frames. It's nicer, easier, smaller. Now, on the other 5 days, do something in beekeeping. And that is, look through the pictures you took when you did your inspection, or read a book or watch a video. I made a video recently on laying workers, when workers no longer are suppressed and they can start laying unfertilized eggs, which become drones. I talked about why it happens, how to fix it. You could spend time watching my videos on days you're not working the hive, learning more about bees. So if you do something in beekeeping, just a little bit every day, woo, it gets to be big. And before long, you kind of know some stuff and you get better at it. And so if you're really excited about it, do something a little bit every day. And I think it really compounds and starts to really benefit you. So whether it's a job that you're succeeding in, wanting to do more about it. Hey, look, if you're at a job and you're wanting to, whether it's a trade or some other kind of job, you've got to spend some time thinking about, how can I invest in my job a little bit every day to make myself better at what I do? And then I can start thinking, okay, I'm getting better at my job. And it might be that your boss recognizes it and they start thinking, okay, wow, that's cool. I've got a worker, an employee that is pretty sharp. They know a lot of stuff and I can tell they're putting in extra time. I was always taught, and I'm kind of a hard worker, workaholic, but I was always taught arrive at work early. You know, don't be standing around with your coat on when it finally hits 5 o'clock. Go ahead and put the time in. Let people know that you're a hard worker. You're willing to put the time in and make sacrifices. I know not everybody holds that anymore. I know, and I'm not hating on anyone for, you know, feeling like they don't want to give their soul to the workplace, whatever. But even if you are in a place where you don't like working for whoever or a company or something, maybe you can gain a lot of knowledge working where you're working, so you can eventually start your own business and you can have more freedom. That might be an option if you do a good job there. See, you're taking time to really learn your craft, I guess is what I'm saying. So if it's exercise or your marriage or beekeeping, or if you're even going through a hard time, a health concern, or aging and you're just really down about life and all, look, find a way to barely add an inch of success a day to your life. And before long, those successes compound and you find yourself a lot better off. So remember, if you don't do anything today, it's going to run into tomorrow, and your tomorrow is going to be easier not to do anything at all again. Stay in it. And in beekeeping, do something every single day. Now, if you want to watch a video where I actually made this split from this hive, guys, I'd love for you to watch this video. And thanks for joining me for coffee time. I'll see you over in that video right here.